Natira
Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna. I don't know what to say, really. I'm just going to be a microphone. That's what all devotees are meant to be. That's what I am. I'm just going to be a microphone. Our acharyas have written everything in the books. Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada, you already know what he's written. I'm just a microphone, speaking through another microphone. Anything and everything I say in this class is, I have no practical experience. It's simply from Srila Prabhupada's practical experience and him writing his practical experience down in his books. So that's all I'm going to be sharing today. So today's Bhagavad Gita verse is Bhagavad Gita chapter 7, text 27. Please repeat after me. Ichcha dvesha samudena Dvandva mohena bharata Sarvabhutani samoham Sargayanti parantapa Ichcha dvesha samudena Dvandva mohena bharata Sarvabhutani samoham Sargayanti parantapa Prabhuji's.
Ishadvesa samuthena Dvandva mohena bharata Sarvabhutani sammoham Sarge yanti parantapa Ishadvesa samuthena Dvandva mohena bharata Sarvabhutani sammoham Sarge yanti parantapa Ichadvesha samuthena Dvandva mohena bharata Sarvabhutani sammoham Sarge yanti parantapa Ichadvesha samuthena Dvandva mohena bharata Sarvabhutani sammoham Sarge yanti parantapa.
Thank you. Please repeat after me. Icha,
desire,
Dvesha, and hate. Samuthena, arising from. Dvandva, of duality. Mohena, by the illusion. Bharata, O sign of Bharata. Sarva, all. Bhutani, living entities. Sammoham, into delusion. Sarge, while taking birth. Yanti, go. Parantapa, O conqueror of enemies. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. O sign of Bharata, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities, arising from desire and hate. O sign of Bharata, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities arisen from desire and hate. Purport. The real constitutional position of the living entity is that of subordination to the Supreme Lord, who is pure knowledge. When one is deluded into separation from this pure knowledge, he becomes controlled by the illusory energy and cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The illusory energy is manifested in the duality of desire and hate. Due to desire and hate, the ignorant person wants to become one with the Supreme Lord and envies Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pure devotees who are not deluded or contaminated by desire and hate can understand that Lord Shri Krishna appears by his internal potencies, but those who are deluded by duality and the science think that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is created by material energies. This is their misfortune. Such deluded persons symptomatically dwell in dualities of dishonor and honor, misery and happiness, woman and man, good and bad, pleasure and pain, etc., thinking, this is my wife, this is my house, I am the master of this house, I am the husband of this wife. These are all the dualities of delusion. Those who are so deluded by dualities are completely foolish and therefore cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnana-jana-shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Karamayam Tadati Swapadantikam
Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Shri Rupam Sadvajatam
Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanu Sute Devi Paramami Hripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. So thank you everyone for coming to this Sunday Love Feast program. I've gotten this very humble opportunity to give lecture and to give my perspective, to give lecture and share a little bit about what Srila Prabhupada has said. So this verse, chapter 7, text 27. We'll get into it a little bit more, but before that, I just wanted to, all of you already know the importance of Bhagavad Gita, and also for the newcomers who are here. We're studying Bhagavad Gita, but some people are coming from different backgrounds, different faiths. Some people, they have a lot of knowledge about Vedic literature already, and everybody, we come into the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and the first thing preachers are talking about, they're talking about Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Gita. It's like, mera dadaji bolte the Bhagavad Gita ke baare mein chota tha tabhi. But now we're here again as adults, as young adults. My birthday was yesterday, so now I'm a young adult. And it's something that, we start to dive into more. What is Bhagavad Gita? What is Bhagavad Gita as it is? What is Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita? Prabhupada has specifically named this Bhagavad Gita as Bhagavad Gita as it is, because it's coming in direct disciplic succession from Krishna himself. Jai Namainitai, Shishirada Shamsundar, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So it's very important that we first understand the importance of this version of the Bhagavad Gita, this specific Bhagavad Gita itself. Prabhupada has said that as I write my commentary, I am simply writing. Actually, Krishna is dictating everything. Krishna is sitting right next to me and telling me everything what to write. So really, we are reading directly Krishna's words. And Srila Prabhupada is writing Krishna's words, what Krishna wants us to know, according to time, place, and circumstance, that is presented as Bhaktivedanta purports. So in the introduction of the Bhagavad Gita, I found this very interesting little paragraph. I'd like to quickly read it because this really establishes the importance of Bhagavad Gita. So before we actually get into the verse and understand the potency of really studying any verse, we've been studying Bhagavad Gita for many Sundays now. I just thought, it's good to refresh and understand the importance of Bhagavad Gita as it is. The spirit of Bhagavad Gita is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita itself. It is just like this. If we want to take a particular medicine, then we have to follow the directions written on the label. We cannot take the medicine according to our own whim or the direction of a friend. It must be taken according to the directions of on the label or the directions given by a physician. Everybody understand so far? Similarly, Bhagavad Gita should be taken or accepted as it is directed by the speaker himself. The speaker of Bhagavad Gita is Lord Krishna. He is mentioned on every page of Bhagavad Gita as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. Of course, the word Bhagavan sometimes refers to any powerful person or any powerful demigod, just like we say, Bhagavan Indra, Bhagavan Shiva, and etc. Powerful person or any powerful demigod. And certainly here, Bhagavan designates Lord Shri Krishna as a great personality, but at the same time, we should know that Lord Shri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as is confirmed by all great acharyas, spiritual masters. like Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbark Swami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and many other authorities of Vedic knowledge in India. You can find this in the Bhagavad Gita introduction. That itself, actually, just for me to read the Bhagavad Gita, introduction of Bhagavad Gita again and again, it's just so powerful. And just to read that is actually enough to introduce a new person to Krishna consciousness, because it gives the whole foundation, it gives the whole background about what they need to understand and what mood they should have when they're going in to study Bhagavad Gita. So this verse is talking a lot about delusion, duality, hate. Duality arises from delusion and hate. And it's a very small purport, very small verse. But this verse, when I read this purport, it reminded me of the basics. Just always go back to the basics, always make your foundation strong. And the basics is to understand Shri Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when we want to misuse our independence, we want to forget Krishna. Why do we want to forget Krishna? Because we want to enjoy separately from Him. When that happens, and we turn our head away from Krishna, you can find this, I don't know the exact verse, but it's there in the 4th canto, you can search it up online. When Krishna Himself is saying in the Srimad Bhagavatam, you yourself turned away from me, and therefore you are now here in this material world. And I'm trying to call you back, and He's given us Bhagavad Gita, next level Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and such great literature is there that Krishna has given us. And when we turn our head away from Krishna, when we don't want to serve Krishna, we are serving Krishna under the shelter of His internal energy. This, when we're talking about Krishna Bhav, Krishna Prema, this is all Srimati Radharani's internal energy that she blesses us with, so that we can properly develop that actual love. Right now in the material world, it is lust, but that lust is in the perverted form of real love, real Krishna Prema. And that is what Krishna gives us when we really want to serve Him, and we're really trying sincerely to serve our beloved lordships. Then Krishna gives us that. But then we're in the internal energy, we turn our head, and then boom, the external energy. And does anybody know who oversees the external energy of Lord Vishnu? Yes, Durga Devi. And hence we fall down into the material world, and we're bounded by the 3 modes of material nature. The purport was talking about duality and delusion and hate. What is actually hate? What does it mean to be deluded? Dishonor and hate. It all starts by wanting to forget our relationship with Krishna. Krishna, abhi aapko jana hai, mujhe I want to start wearing peacock like you, I want to be just like you, I want my own mini little playground. And Krishna says, okay, go to the material world. The material world is actually a very small little corner, black dot actually in Vaikuntha. It's actually very small. And actually everywhere around this material universe is actually all Vaikuntha. It's all the spiritual world. But Krishna sends us to this place so we can play, I don't know, like the little kids, they play housey sometimes when they're little. So like that, Krishna sends us to a place. And Krishna is so kind that whatever we want, whatever we desire, He'll give it to us. He gives us Bhagavad Gita on one hand, but on the other hand, He also gives us, complete sanskarification and complete, facility to enjoy the material world. But then what happens is that, as most of you know, we come under the influence, under the control of Mahamaya. There's 2 types of Maya. There's Mahamaya and Yogmaya. By the mercy of Yogmaya, we come closer to Krishna. But Mahamaya, as you can see, another name for Mahamaya is basically Durga Devi. Durga Devi is the jail keeper. She makes sure that every single time a person tries to leave the material world, I'm here to put them down and test them. And that's what Krishna wants. Krishna wants real love. And when you're trying to get real love, Durga Devi is going to test you. And before that, actually, you'll have to battle through your mind. Actually, we're all conditioned according to these 3 modes of material nature: goodness, passion, ignorance. We're all controlled by one of these 3 modes of material nature. And when we try to come out from ignorance, rise to passion, passion to goodness, and then we try to rise to Vishuddha Sattva, or Shuddha Sattva. In Sanskrit, it's Shuddha Sattva. In English, it's called pure mode of goodness. Because we may be in the pure mode of goodness, we may love waking up in the morning and everything, but it's still contaminated with passion and ignorance. So there's every chance of falling down. And to go through that whole cycle and again train yourself, it's like I'm very skinny, I'm trying to work out, and gain more muscle. But, if only I wasn't skinny in the first place, I wouldn't have to put so much effort to again, work in the gym and sweat and do all that so much. might as well, as soon as I got that knowledge, instead of just, being skinny, or maybe if I was, not fit, it was better if I was fit in the first place. That's my point. So same way, it's better to always be on the platform of mode of goodness for us. Because when we have the mode of goodness, we get the ability known as Shastra Chakshu, which means we can see the world through the eyes of Shastra. There's no confusion. We know that, okay, if this person is going to the bar, we know what's his future going to be. We know if this person is going to break one of the four regulative principles, as devotees, it's not just theoretical, but mode of goodness makes it practical for us to understand that, hey, the direction that this Prabhuji or Mataji, whatever he's going in and breaking the four regs, he's accumulating a lot of bad karma. And that's going to make him fall down into material entanglement and get completely caught up in the modes of passion and ignorance. And when you're conditioned like that, and from that situation when you try to get out, it's very tough. Because now you're changing your whole conditioning. I was in my intro to philosophy class and my teacher put up this question. So what do y'all think? Do you think we're all independent? I'll raise that question to you. Do you think we're independent? I mean, most of you will say no. But some students, they said, we're independent. Whatever we want to do, we can do. We're not controlled by anything. So that's correct. Actually, we're both independent and dependent. We're independent in the sense Krishna has given us that free, independent will to act and change and come out of the lower modes of material nature to the platform of mode of goodness. Because when you're in the lower modes of material nature, passion and ignorance, you become even more confused. There's just so many problems. And because of that, the Mayavadis, they will say, there's just so much duality, and because of, passion and ignorance and duality, there's so much dishonor and hate. And like Prabhupada was saying in that verse, he thinks this is my wife and this is my husband and this is my house, and all these problems come. And the Mayavadis are just fed up with it. They're like, just screw everything. Let me just merge into just one Brahman. Imagine if everything was just nice. Like you just close your eyes and you go into nothingness. And that's what the Mayavadis will say. This whole world is illusion. But Srila Prabhupada comments that this world is not illusion. This world is Krishna's personal creation. The external energy of the Lord, this whole cosmic manifestation. You can read Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto. The whole cosmic manifestation is there. The essence of everything is there. This is Krishna's external energy. And because of that, this world is not false, it's not fake, it's very real. It's real for us. There's a lot of problems in this world, but the problems are there just to rectify our mistake, which was to leave Krishna in the first place. And the Mayavadis just want to make everything one, and just everything is bad. And actually the propounder of this Mayavad philosophy is His Holiness Shankar Adi Shankaracharya. Many of you may have heard his name. Shankaracharya in the Padma Puran, Uttarakhand 25.7, it is mentioned, Mayavadam Ashat Shatram Prachana, please excuse my pronunciation, Prachananam Bodham Uchyate Mayaiva Vitihim Devi Kalo Brahmana Murtina. Lord Shiva informed Goddess Durga, the superintendent of the material world. So we have Lord Shiva, who is basically the husband of Maya Devi, aka Durga Devi, who is trying to keep us in this material world. Lord Shiva is telling her wife, in the age of Kali, I take the form of a Brahmana and explain the Vedas through false scriptures in an atheistic way, similar to the Buddhist philosophy. If we analyze the Buddhist philosophy, everything is void. There's no concept of light even, or Brahman or anything, or any type of effulgence. Everything is just void. And in order to bring the Buddhists back into following Vedic scriptures, Shankaracharya cannot just come down. So Shankaracharya, as we can see, he came down for a specific purpose. He cannot just come down and say, Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Mahaprabhu is going to appear, so get yourself ready. It's going to be a Sankirtan party everywhere, and your guys are going to get Bhakti Yoga, and woohoo, hip hip hooray. It doesn't work like that. Why? Because they're so conditioned to following the Buddhist philosophy. So just for the purpose of establishing the Vedic scriptures as authoritative, Shankaracharya has twisted the words. And actually, if you see Prabhupada's, his whole commentary, Tika means commentary in Sanskrit, he's practically bashing out and defeating and cutting out all Mayavad arguments. Because when Prabhupada came to the United States, that's really what Prabhupada was dealing with. I mean, atheists may also not believe in Mayavad, but still they believe that, the universe is there and nature has something. So really, at the end of the day, it is all a form of Mayavad philosophy. And that's really what Prabhupada had to face. Mayavad, and that's what was prominent during back then. And many yogis have come and they've given this we are one, we are one. So a lot of people before Srila Prabhupada came, they may have some idea of Hinduism or spirituality, but it was all in a very perverted way. Everything is one, hate and desire, they come from duality. Mayavadis will say, why is everything duality, so much hate, desire, just merge everything into one, become desireless. Now that is the main point. That's where Mayavad philosophy starts to crack up and fail. Desireless. We cannot become desireless. Nitya Nityanam Chetana Chetana Snana. We are part and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Our very innate nature is to desire. Actually, to want to become desireless itself is a desire. So you're sitting and you're desireless. But actually it's a desire. I'm desiring that. So how long am I going to be able to do that? Even if I do that and get to Brahman, 99.9% chance I don't get elevated to Vaikuntha further than Brahman. I have to come back down. There may be very, very rare 0.01% rare instances where a yogi may go to Brahman effulgence. If I had the cosmic manifestation chart, it would make a lot more sense. But they have to again fall back down. And then again they have to look. And by Krishna's causeless mercy, again a devotee will intercept their pathway with a book and say, here, take Bhagavad Gita. Forget about Mayavad philosophy. And it's their own independence. Do they want to still rot within the three most material nature, or do they want to get liberated and experience Krishna's internal potency, Krishna Prema? The duality of this world is very beautiful actually. We cannot live without duality. Our nature is to desire. We cannot become one. Krishna has said in the Bhagavad Gita, there was a time when you did not exist, and never is there a time where you will never exist. You have always existed. Krishna told this to Arjuna. So how can we have ever been one and then separated? And how can we be separated now and become one? And if we are all one, why are we in Maya? Just snap your fingers and go back to Godhead, right? We're in Maya because we're dependent on Krishna. We're dependent on Krishna, but we have the independence to be dependent on Krishna. You can use your independence. You can either continue to stay in delusion and think, I am actually independent from Krishna, or you can use your independence to get gyan and knowledge and understand that actually I am dependent upon Krishna. And when you start to become dependent upon Krishna, Krishna will put you through many tests, and then you will actually become independent. That's actually when you'll become independent. Because you're not bound by the three modes of material nature. You're not under the influence of Maya. But still, you wouldn't want to do anything else other than serve Krishna according to a particular rasa or service, whatever, in the spiritual world. And the spiritual world itself is filled with a lot of variety. Spiritual world itself, there's duality. There's Krishna and Balaram and cows and cowherd boys and Govardhan Hill and Yamuna. And Krishna with his friends are using water guns and playing, they're sporting in the Yamuna river. And there's so much duality here. It's just that this material world is simply a perverted reflection. That's why every single relationship that Krishna has, we also have. Krishna has a mother, father, we also have parents. Krishna has wife, we also get wife. Brother, sister, Krishna has, therefore we also have. Krishna has friends, we also have friends. We use non-living matter, non-living things in this material world to help us with our enjoyment. Even in the spiritual world, the rocks, the trees, the flutes, they're all alive. They're all serving Krishna. Actually, the gopis are in Vrindavan, they say that, curse me. Krishna's flute is always there with Krishna. We're not even with Krishna all the time. This flute is even more, but what is a flute? Here a flute is a dead piece of thing, but there the flute is actually, it's actually alive. It's serving Krishna in the mood of Shantaras, neutrality. But that's again a whole new topic, tattva philosophical understanding to get into. But the point is that the spiritual world is there, and because of that, the material world is also there. We can enjoy it just like Krishna. But we don't have prema. We don't have that innate, natural happiness we're looking for. We want to be happy eternally without any disturbance. And we're in this world, and the natural workings of this material nature is completely contradictory to our natural desire. This world is not eternal. You don't get eternal happiness. You're always getting disturbed, and nothing is eternal. So we're trying to satisfy an impossible desire in this place. And that's where people get stuck. Then they don't know, mental speculations and Mayavadis and different theories and philosophies, and you can even study Western philosophies. All these philosophies come about, what to do, what is my life, and who is God, and what is the material world. And the whole thing is khichdi. But that's the beauty of this material world, that we get a chance to again go back to Godhead and never return to this material world. When we take up devotional service, when we don't take up devotional service, all this duality, all this confusion, illusion is there. We're trying to enjoy, the Ioniq, or the Hyundai, for those of you who follow cars. Hyundai Ioniq 5 came out, now the Ioniq 6 is coming out, iPhone 13 came out. There's tension before you get the iPhone 14. You get the iPhone 14, and then after 2 months, again the tension starts. And yeah, my friend who's iPhone 15 le jayega, I'm going to be left in the dust. No one's gonna come talk to me. No one's gonna look at me with respect. Because now iPhone 14 is completely garbage. After like 6 months, new iPhone came out, and it's like so much tension. It's like you invest in the stock market and there's tension, and even if you're doing great, business-minded people, they always look at their colleagues. So if their colleague is doing better, still you have tension. So you have tension before you got involved, and you have tension while you're getting involved, and you have tension after you're getting involved. But it's done so subtly, we don't even understand. And we think we try again, and we try again, and we try again, and still at the end of the day, we're not happy. That internal satisfaction, that internal peace is not there, because we're looking for happiness in the wrong direction. We don't know which direction. We don't have any authority to tell us which direction to look at. And unfortunately, Shankaracharya gave them a completely wrong direction, but he had to in order to establish, the foundation that Veda is authorized. Then later, great Acharya, not Shankaracharya, but even Shankaracharya says, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Mudamate. Muda means fool, rascal. Just worship Govinda, worship Govinda, worship Govinda. Anything that's mentioned in Shastra 3 times is supposed to be taken with utmost importance. Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam Kevalam, 3 times. Kalo Nasteva, Kalo Nasteva, Kalo Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatiranita. It's of utmost importance. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam Mudamate. Don't worry about all these grammatical errors and changes. People think we are screwing up, the Prabhupada's books and Prabhupada's wordings and literatures, because the Mayavadis, they have another interpretation of Bhagavad Gita. And we have the right, proper interpretation of Bhagavad Gita. Bhaja Govindam. And what does Bhaja Govindam mean in Kali Yuga? Bhaja Govindam means Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam eva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatiranita. This is the easiest, most reliable, viable means to get Krishna Prema. It's so easy. Even the people of Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Satya Yuga do not get this opportunity. That's why it's really rare. What Mahaprabhu has given, Mahaprabhu also does not appear every Kali Yuga, by the way. He only appears the Yuga after Krishna has appeared. And Krishna has appeared 5,050 years ago. And Mahaprabhu, we're so fortunate that whatever Krishna is experiencing in his pastimes in Vrindavan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes 5,000 years later. And 550 years ago, Mahaprabhu came, and he gives us that opportunity to experience Braja Prem, Braja Bhav, Braj Ras. And it's something so beautiful. Actually, there's a I heard from Amol Leela Prabhu, you can all watch the YouTube video. I'm just quoting him. He was mentioning about the pastime of Shankaracharya's last days. Shankaracharya and his whole entourage and all his disciples. And Mayavad first was like just blown up everywhere. Everybody were Shankarites all over India. And Shankaracharya's mother was on her deathbed, and it was time for her to go. And Shankaracharya and all his disciples came to meet Shankaracharya's mother. And mother says, Beta, please tell me about that one who you worship dearly inside your beloved heart. Yes, mother. All glories to that impersonal Brahman, the one that we are all supposed to be part of, blah 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 blah, and it goes on. And she's like, Beta, oh Shankara, please tell me about the one who you worship within your heart. Yes, mother. All glories to that eternal Brahman who we all worship, so we can become one. Shankaracharya, beta, please tell me, आप किसको पूजा करते हो आपके दिल में? Okay, ma. Disciples, go out. Shut the door, shut the window. Okay, mother. Now I will tell you about the eternal pastimes of Shri Radha Shyam Sundar. So this pastime is recorded actually by one of his disciples because he had listened to that conversation. So really, Shankaracharya inside he is worshipping Krishna, but outside, because he was given a certain responsibility to carry out by Vishnu, He had to perform that. Therefore, he could not speak so much about Krishna. But he says that Krishna Bhakti is the highest. There's nothing higher than that. Fools just worship Krishna. Because there's so much, Mayavadis are so much caught up in grammatical errors, and they'll sit down and discuss Vedanta, and everything is so dry. There's no rasa. There's no consideration of Krishna as spiritual pastimes. I have a loving relationship with Krishna. That concept is not even there. And imagine if we were trapped in that type of situation. Prabhupada is here giving us the highest rasa, highest experience that we can have in Krishna Bhakti. Even in Krishna Bhakti is, as you take Bhakti Shastri and higher courses, you will know that there's Bhakti Yoga, but there's also many levels of Bhakti Yoga. And Prabhupada's here, he's given us access to all of them, including the topmost. So that you can do your own research and understand and go into that more. I won't go into all that here. So when we take up Krishna Bhakti, then we come out of this duality. What is duality? Duality doesn't mean, there is me, and there's person B, and there's person C, and there's good, and there's bad, and everything should just be nothing because there's duality, and if there's good, then the other side of the coin is bad, and vice versa, and all that. That's what Mayavadis will say. But for us, when Prabhupada says to get rid of your duality, don't be in delusion, that means to get out of the bodily concept of life. Oneness means to understand that we are all one qualitatively, means we're all servants of Krishna, and quantitatively, in terms of quantity, we're not equal to Krishna, but we're subordinate to Krishna. We are his servants. Just like fire sparks by itself is practically, it's not even existence. Prabhupada compares us to like fire sparks when we're away from Krishna. But when we come and join Krishna's pastimes, we're like that fire sparks. A fire looks even more beautiful with fire sparks. You ask any professional photographer, they'll just tell you it's just so much more amazing to look at fire that has beautiful fire sparks burning instead of just some plain, curly, fire. Fire sparks beautify Krishna, and Krishna enjoys it even more when we're with him in his eternal pastimes. And because a devotee is at that stage, he's free from duality. He understands. But to understand now, that is actually pure knowledge. If you go back to the purport, the first sentence, Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Prabhupada says, is pure knowledge. He is Satchit Ananda Vigraha. From him, pure knowledge comes. And by connecting to the pure, because we are pure, Prabhupada says, it's like the fire is already there in the wood. You just need to rub it, and the fire will naturally come. So you just need to connect yourself with pure knowledge, and you'll also become pure. And that pure knowledge is coming from Krishna. And when it's not theoretical, but when it's practically realized, this can be practically realized, and it can take only one lifetime. When it becomes practically realized, this pure, real knowledge, then we can practically understand that everything is one in the sense. You're all, including me, we're all Krishna's servants. We're all Krishna's servants. Gopi Parutur Padakamayo Das Anudas Anudas. We're the servant of the servant of the servants of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. And this is our real eternal position. And the qualities associated with with that high level of pure realization, humility, compassion, gratitude, selfless service, selfishness goes out the window, greed goes out the window, envy goes out the window. And that's actually what's troubling all of us in this material world. It's not that somebody has to be like this so I can be happy, or I need this so I can be happy. There are yogis living in the Himalayas who are completely happy, according to their own platform of yoga and progress they've made on the spiritual ladder. But there are so many people who are detached, and they're more happier than us. Why have so many billionaires and billionaires, committed suicide? They have everything. Just recently, I was a big fan of Power Rangers. Some of you may know that TV serial, or some of your kids may, in the future, get into that show, Power Rangers. And one of my favorite main actors, I think it's still under investigation, I don't know, but he committed suicide. He's like 34 or 45, in his 40s, and he committed suicide. I'm like, why? This guy's such a nice guy. He's done so much service. He's inspired so many people. And I'm honestly hearing suicide after suicide after suicide, school shooting after school shooting after school shooting, mall shooting, ShopRite shooting, Walmart shooting. What is this? And people still want to be happy in this world. And people don't know where to go. And people are still, let's still enjoy more. No, my parents didn't know how to enjoy. This is how you enjoy. Then my kids will say, no, Madhav Papa doesn't know how to enjoy. This is actually how you enjoy. And then like that, it'll always go. They didn't know how to enjoy. We actually know how to enjoy. With new enjoyment comes new sufferings. And that's just the nature of the material world. And that's something that you have to accept with humility. That's just the nature of this material world. You cannot do anything about it. You have to accept the higher taste. When you accept the higher taste, then only you can discard the lower one. No one is saying just get rid of envy, get rid of your pride, get rid of your arrogance. Prabhupada disciples have more pride than anyone else in this world. Because I'm a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Who are you? Meaning not in a bad way, but in a compassionate way. I'm a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada directly, is in contact with Krishna. So many devotees, when they were in Kirtan with Srila Prabhupada, they felt the doors of the spiritual world opening and they've experienced this prema, this glimpse of Krishna prema experiencing in their heart, and it completely transforms their heart. And then they slowly start to see a change within their life. Everyone they start to see as a devotee of Krishna. I am a very humble servant. We start to feel compassionate for the others. Hence, increasing the book distribution scores and pleasing Guru and Gauranga. And all these good qualities come: humility, compassion, gratitude. And when that is there, what else do you really need? Because that's the higher taste. But those are also godly qualities. It's very hard to really, attain those qualities. And it's very easy, just chant Hare Krishna. We think sometimes chanting Hare Krishna is, Hare Krishna, and everybody knows. Someone's talking in the back, someone's outside, someone's this, someone that. But just by chanting Hare Krishna again and again and again, you develop these qualities which will make you so happy. And then you'll probably just save up your money and just quit working, and you'll just do bhajan all day, and you'll do your sadhana and preaching all day because you have this happiness, you have this higher taste. But sometimes because we are not getting that taste while chanting Hare Krishna, or maybe Krishna has not yet decided, to shower his merciful, pure, holy name on our tongue like Mother Sachi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Chaitanya Bhagavad that, you're the tongue of all Vaishnavas. And maybe Mahaprabhu has not yet decided to manifest himself on our tongue. But even little bit of that comes, that is so great. That immediately gives us all these qualities. Not immediately, but it feels like immediately, even though it's so gradually, because even little Krishna consciousness is so much. You may stop even, you'll forget about Krishna Prema, because even a little bit feels like Krishna Prema. What to actually speak of Krishna Prema? That's how beautiful and powerful Krishna's pure love is. And with Krishna's pure love and Krishna's good qualities, then we can preach Krishna consciousness. Not only through words, but just if you invite new people and you're giving Bhagavad Gita, or just by seeing Jananivas Prabhu and Pankajani Prabhu wave the deep and incense of Panchatattva and Radha Madhav, that itself invokes something in you. Just by hearing great devotees, Loknath Maharaj, Jayendra Prabhu, so many other, Kadambakana Maharaj, just by hearing their holy name, you get ecstatic, you go to a whole new world. Just by hearing Radha Govind Maharaj and so many other great Kathakars, you completely. And for me, even Amrita Prabhu he's a big influence for me. His Bhagavad Gatas, because their sadhana is strong, just by doing their sadhana, something happens to me. Preaching means that when somebody is affected by your purity, it's not just that Krishna is God and you should do this and you should do that. But it's not about just being theoretical. It's about also being practical. Practical means you experience that practical purity, because Krishna purity is real and it's full of love. That's all it is. And when one attains that, then for one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached. For one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached, for he has attained tranquility. To such a man, happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor are all the same, because they're all material qualities. These things are there because of the law of karma and Maya's influence, and kisna ye bol diya, kisna ye kar diya. But when you're above that, you have the higher taste. That's what it means to be free from duality. It means to understand that Krishna is actually, practical realization that Krishna is actually managing everything. He's actually the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of the material world. And Maya is just under her and she's just following everything. Pure devotional service, the real constitutional position of the living entity is that of subordination to the Supreme Lord, who is pure knowledge. Like I mentioned in the class earlier, this pure knowledge is very important. This is a beautiful painting I found. This is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu giving instructions to Rupa Goswami. And the instructions that Mahaprabhu is giving us is very rare also. That also, it's a secret. It's not a secret, but I'm going to keep it a secret just so you get more enthusiastic about to understand actually what is Mahaprabhu's perspective on Bhakti Yoga. What is he actually giving us compared to everyone else? What is everyone else giving us and what is Mahaprabhu giving us? What is the importance of this Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta that we're getting? It's very important, and time is up. I won't go into all that now, but Bhakti Shastri, and there's so many courses, I forgot the name, but there's so many courses that you can take, you can dive deep inside. There's so many things that Prabhupada has mentioned in his books that he has not spoken in lectures. You may hear some things that devotees say, and you'll be like, Prabhupada never said that. And you'll find out that Prabhupada, that devotee was not saying, he was reading Prabhupada's purport. There's so many things that we don't know that Prabhupada, deep, rich, rasa, important information Prabhupada has in his purports. That's why it's important to work Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, really understand what we're all about, what this ISKCON movement is all about. It's not just I'm the body, I'm not the soul, I'm not the body, I'm the soul. But just I'm not the body, I'm the soul. If you open it and unpackage that sentence, there's so much. Your whole PhD degree can be just on I'm not the body, I'm the spirit soul. And even when you complete your PhD essay, you'll probably want to go back and do it another 100 times. That's what Srila Prabhupada has given us. And we're very grateful for Srila Prabhupada's time and contribution to give us this pure knowledge. So we can get out, we have the right knowledge, not Mayavad knowledge, pure Krishna, devotional service, knowledge of bhakti. So we can get out of this, material duality and understand that everything is actually meant for service, for Krishna. Thank you very much. I'll just end with this last quote by Srila Prabhupada. One should understand Krishna in truth, and this one can do only by serving a pure devotee. So I'll leave it at there. Thank you for tolerating me for the last 45 minutes. I hope you took out even little piece of information. I hope you took out. I'm not qualified or as a great Bhagavad Kathakar. I don't have any knowledge. I just read one verse, Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada translation and purport, and I'm just trying to say whatever I've heard through Shravanam and Kirtanam. Well, please forgive me for my offenses. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasimabhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Madhav Kunderan. So anybody has questions? Anybody has? Question or comment?
Hare Krishna, Madhav. Very well presented. You mentioned in the beginning that you don't have practical knowledge, but the way you presented, you have a lot of practical knowledge, although with your age. So, very nice class. So, one question, also you mentioned, we are not this body, we are this soul. How, and also we should apply this practically in our life. How can we put this into practice on a day-to-day basis?
Find that one devotional service activity that you just love and just drown yourself in it. Along with chanting the holy name, chanting the holy in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anybody wants to help me out? What is that verse? Nam Vaishnav Seva, Nam Seva Vaishnav Seva, Chaitanya Charitamrita verse, if anybody knows. That verse says two things. Nam Seva, Vaishnav Seva, no one can give up. It doesn't matter what you like. You like serving prasadams or taking out the trash. You can get prema just by taking out the trash if you do it sincerely for Krishna. But without chanting the holy name and Vaishnav Seva, that's also Vaishnav Seva. But these two primary things. The third thing, what you love. Just you love making garlands, you love reading Ramayana, whatever you love, just drown yourself in it. Don't be afraid to just completely drench and just completely wet yourself in the rasa that you're getting from whatever devotional service activity you like to do. Just do that with your heart, along with serving the Vaishnavas in whatever way you get and chanting the holy name. That's all I can say based on my so-called practical.
Thank you. There is one question.
I'd just like to comment because I see him day in and out. So I'm there with him almost 24 hours a day. So And what he was saying is very true, that everything else is fine, but the chanting has to be very strong, powerful. Along with the chanting, you can dive into the same, and in any service, dive deep into it, what you like. And COVID actually helped, because COVID, when the lockdown happened, that's completely when the transformation happened, where he started hearing a lot of lectures, Prabhupada lectures, and dove very, very deep into it. And recently I was sharing on Thanksgiving Day, we were talking to somebody who was challenging us on the scriptures and Srila Prabhupada and ISKCON. And at some point I was trying to explain, but then gradually he took it over. He was quoting verses and defending what Prabhupada has presented. And I was very proud because, and this is what we expect from our youth, from our next generations, that they study the scriptures and they are in a position to stand up. It's not all theoretical. It's not that because somebody said Krishna is God, but now we need to defend, we need to present where it says Krishna is God, why, what we are saying, and why we're coming from. So it's the responsibility of all the parents to ensure that they teach them the scriptures. They hear these Sunday lectures. I'm seeing these little boys sitting here, 2 boys, hearing these lectures. From this age, when they continuously hear, they learn so much. Half the knowledge will come just by attending these programs or the Sunday schools. So, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Many happy returns, Madhav.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Congratulations on a wonderful presentation. Just like your dad just said, you serve as a very, very powerful example for the future, for the young. And so, congratulations.
Thank you. Prabhuji himself, seeing him every Sunday here itself, you're actually a very big inspiration for me, just to see you come here every Sunday, very dedicated to your services. That's just very big inspiration for me. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
I cannot have enough words for you, my friend. I've seen you growing up from last 20 odd years. I don't know how old did you become?
20.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It was absolutely a pleasure to hear you, your knowledge, your devotion towards Krishna, your mridangam playing, and today I feel you itself an inspiration to my son too, and all the other children around you of your age. Keep up the good work, and thank you again. We want to hear you again and again. Please, all right, don't give up on that. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhav Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, very nice class, Madhav. And as Prabhu said that, Vijay Prabhu said that we want to hear you more, but I hear him at home every day, almost every day. So even both of us, whenever we are also down or anything, he actually uplifts us, and always he has something to say. So sometimes I think that I'm reading even Devahuti and Gardam and Kapil Dev, so past time, and sometimes when I hear him, I sometimes feel that how the Devahuti heard from Kapil Dev. Sometimes I feel in her shoes. I mean, of course, that's very elevated, but sometimes I think like that. But it's very fortunate as a mother to see, and may he be inspiration to youth, upcoming youth also. So I pray to Radha Shyam Sundar and Nimai and Nitai also. And this happened just because of the blessings of all the Vaishnavas. And one thing I can say that we took every opportunity of association, giving him association of exalted Vaishnavas and sannyasi. So I remember whenever there would be great sannyasi would be visiting in the temple or anywhere, we would always make sure that we want to take him and get their blessings. So we never lost that opportunity. Always took him in all the programs always took him, to take the darshans of exalted senior devotees and sannyasis, and that's the reason why you see that he's taking up Krishna consciousness so seriously. And I urge to even Mataji's here that they should also strive for the same. Always take that association and give association to your children also. So I want to thank all of you, because of you and your blessings, he's marching forward. Thank you.
In Chaitanya Charitamrita says we should not be lazy learning the philosophy. So one should be always inquisitive, we should not be alasya na karibe. Whenever we want to learn philosophy, we should not be lazy. And I've seen we were actually student together in Bhakti Shastra, and definitely it's not very easy to to do Bhakti Shastra. You have to do a lot of studies, a lot of memorizations, a lot of homeworks, and he has this enthusiasm of learning. So until and unless a person doesn't stop learning, I was talking to some people, when we say I know that, so that will stop all our progress, right? But when we are so always inquisitive, learning so much deeper, actually, he was talking so many philosophies, but if we really go deeper, Prabhupada has really given so many details and so many informations which we really don't know. So we have to really study the scriptures, come together, and we have really wonderful programs like Bhakti Riches, very close program, homely program where you can ask questions, you can inquire, have some kind of a bonding, right? You can study together. Kind of environment is there. So please come, if anybody is nearby, in Bergen area, we have in Parsippany area, multiple areas, somebody is interested to learn the scriptures. We read different kind of scriptures entirely, and a lot of discussions, question and inquiries are there with kirtans and bhajan, with wonderful prasadam. Please join this program. Again, I was mentioning about Vancha Sangha. Many senior devotees coming, and these are the very wonderful opportunity. As a seeker, as understanding our goal, as Prabhuji was mentioning, that Jivera Swarupa Krishna Ite Das, we are eternal servant of Krishna, but what we do about it, right? That's the main point. That's what we need to learn. And thank you again, Madhav Prabhu, for this realization you have shared and your learning. Thank you so much. And with 3 times, Haribo, Haribo, Haribo. And also I want to announce there are a few items some devotees have left. There's a jacket, there's water bottle, and 4 chanting bit bags. So please, whoever has missed it, please kindly let us know. So we don't want to pile up over there.
If you don't claim, we'll offer it to the deities and we'll get it out for auction.
Bro, any iPhone?
I wish I would take it myself. And also, everybody please come forward, to wish birthday for Puna Mataji and Madhav Prabhu. We'll be doing cake. Bless them.